A lot of us don't realize that the Prophet ﷺ was in very, very good shape, mashallah. And in Imam at-Tirmidhi's book, he's actually described as having his chest and his stomach in a straight line, which means that he didn't have a protruding belly. His chest was broad, his shoulders were broad, his calves were perfectly formed. And there are many narrations of the Prophet ﷺ, even in his 50s, being able to do incredible feats of strength. For instance, there was a wrestler at the time, Rukānah, who nobody could beat. He was famous for being the strongest wrestler of the time. And the Prophet ﷺ was able to beat him in wrestling, and Rukānah immediately converted to Islam because that was proof that the strength had come from Allah. But not only had Allah given the Prophet superhuman strength, but he was also constantly training, as were the Sahaba, because they had to go fight battles, they had to do physical work. And the Sahabiyat would also constantly be active. They were doing work, whether it was in the house, whether it was climbing up the mountain to deliver the message. There were many examples with the Sahaba and the Sahabiyat of being physically fit and strong. And I wish when I was younger, like some of the young brothers we have in the room, mashallah, that I knew that the Prophet ﷺ was a warrior, because when we're young and we're kids, we kind of look up to that, the warrior, the superhero, right? But the Prophet ﷺ was a superhero. And there was actually a narration where there's a really loud noise in the middle of the night and everybody was scared, and the Prophet ﷺ went alone to handle the situation. He came back with a smile on his face, just was able to handle it no problem. So he really was a superhero that many of us can look up to, whether we're young or whether we're in our 40s, 50s, whatever age that we are, even into our 60s, we can look up to the example of the Prophet ﷺ.